Hi, welcome to session one. In this session, we will be doing some warm-up exercises, and then we'll move into the first Tai Chi form of preparation and commencement. So let's get started with the warm-up exercises. So what we're going to do is we're going to first get into that stance that we were talking about, shoulder width apart, making sure that your feet are parallel. And if your hips are a little wider, you can stand hip width apart, whatever you're most comfortable with. Now we're going to think about how we're holding our body before we start our exercises. So make sure that you're sinking into your stance. Remember, you're imagining that you're sitting down on a high stool or exercise ball, just sinking down so that your lower body is rooted and your weight is equally distributed on your feet, and you're feeling that pull like from a sky hook so that your chin tucks in slightly and shoulders relaxed. Okay, so let's start first with our head. We're going to start just by feeling relaxed, trying to rid our body of the tension that we're feeling. And we're going to first start by dropping down our head and looking back and up to the right. And you can go just as far as you're comfortable. So that old adage, no pain, no gain, has no place in Tai Chi. So looking back and up and just really slow, keeping your shoulders down and relaxed, looking back and up. And we're going to do this 3 times on each side. So going slowly, looking back and up. And one more time. And back and up. And one more on the left. And back and up. Excellent. And then head up. Okay, so now we're going to bring up our hands, making a fist, and we're going to flick out and then shake. And this is supposed to be good for our memory. So if you've forgotten your keys or anything like that, don't know where they are, just flick your hands and shake. And we'll do this about 6 times. So 4, 5, and 6. Excellent. And now we're going to rotate our wrists. These are known as joint opening exercises. So just gentle rotations with your wrists in one direction 6 times, and in the other direction 6 times. Excellent. And then we're going to rotate from our elbow down. And again, 6 going forward. 4, and then 6 going back, 6. Excellent. And then we're just going to swing our forearm, just gentle swing. And again, we'll just do this for about 30 seconds. And then letting your arms swing, just a nice little gentle bounce. Arms swinging back and forth. Excellent. You have problems with your shoulders, just gentle swings. Come a little higher if you can. Excellent. And then hands on your shoulders, and then just gentle rotations back. So I'm going to do 6, going back, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to do 6 going forward. So I hold a lot of my tension in my shoulders, so these are really good to just kind of help release that tension before we start the form. Excellent. Okay, so now we're rooted down, our feet are parallel, and we're going to just shake, making sure you're rooted well, just like you're splashing water on your body. And this is giving our internal organs a bit of a massage, getting that energy flowing. Just splash, splash. Again, we can do this about 30 seconds. And then we're going to take our fists, gentle fists with the thumb on the outside, and just put it in the small of our back and just rub our kidneys, give them a bit of a massage, just gentle as we're bouncing. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to move on down to our lower body. And so we're going to just have to root on one leg. So if you need to, if it's difficult to do it standing, you can always do this in a chair, seated in a chair. We're going to root on one leg. So we're going to root on our left to start. And when you root down on one leg, make sure that you're not sitting into your hip like this. So making sure your energy is going straight down. You're lowering your center of gravity. Don't drop down your head. Keep your head up. And we're going to bring up our leg. Now you can either bring it up like this if you can, and if not, you can just leave it on the ground, and we're going to open up our hip. So we're just foot down and then opening up the hip. Or you can come right up, open up the hip and down, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, and then now I'm going to sink on the right. I'm going to do the same thing on the left, opening up, down, and up. So whatever you're comfortable with. So if you're seated, all you need to do is do this. Now, if you have trouble with your hips, you're not going to go out quite as far. So just go out as far as you're comfortable. And we'll do it 3 times on each side and down. And again, so remember, if it hurts, don't do it. Okay, stay within your comfort zone. And really, when we are sinking all our weight on one side, it's really important to remember, sink that weight down. So shoulders don't want to be up. As soon as your shoulders go up, your weight goes up. So make sure you keep all your weight lower in your lower body. The top of your body is light and agile. And down. Excellent. That's a tricky one. Okay, so now we're going to do our knees. And we're going to stand with our feet together, hands on our knees, and we're just going to do really gentle rotations. And we're going to go 6 in one direction, so 5, 6, and then 6 in the other direction. 3, 4, and 5. So really careful with your knees. And then we're going to sink again, and we're going to do ankles. Now, again, with your ankles, you can bring your foot up and go up and out like this and rotate, or you can just do it by touching down on the ground, or you can do it seated, whatever works best for you. Okay, so up and down, and also rotated. Just gentle rotations, and then shaking out. So you might want to do it like 6 times, both sides, and shaking out. Do this side again, and then rotating. Excellent. Okay, and let's do a stretch up as well. So we're going to come up, we're going to lock our hands together, and we're going to push up. Now, when I'm pushing up, if you can keep going up and go right on the balls of your feet. Really good stretch up. And then you're going to come down, sinking down. Now you can sink down just as far as you're comfortable, but make sure your knees don't go over your toes. Sinking down like you're scooping up and coming up and pushing out. You can breathe out as you're pushing out, gathering the air. Again, you can breathe out as you're scooping down, breathing in, and pushing out. Again, this can be done seated as well. Opening up, scooping down, making sure that your knees don't go over your toes, and up. That's stretching out, really good stretch. It's a good one to do first thing in the morning when you get up. Breathing in and out. Okay, so those are some joint opening exercises to get us kind of prepared for the form. Okay, we're going to move into the form, the Tai Chi form now, and we're going to learn preparation and commencement. Now for preparation, this is where we get ready for the form. And it's very important, even though, once we get moving on with the form, we don't spend a lot of time. But when you're at home, this is a really important thing to do, just to check your alignment. So we're starting with really relaxing and feeling for the tension in our body. So for me, like I had said earlier, the tension is often in my shoulder. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really exaggerate that tension, breathe in, and then just let it relax as you're exhaling and fall back into place. There we go. So wherever you're feeling that, the fists or the tension in your body, you're going to want to release that and just prepare yourself. Okay, so remembering that we have that suspension upwards, so our chin is tucked in slightly. We don't want our head dropped down or to the side or jutted out. So remember, just keep that chin in, tucked in slightly. And our shoulders are always down, so we want to try to keep our arms relaxed. We have the spaces in our body. So under my arm, I'm going to imagine that there's an egg. And if I'm too tight, that egg's going to break. If it's too wide, the egg's going to fall out. So just spaces under your arms, spaces between your fingers. Okay, and remember, sinking into our stance when we start. Really important. So that we have just that natural curve to our back. If you're looking in the mirror, you don't want to see you're leaning back or leaning forward, or your pelvis thrust forward or back like this. So it's just going to tuck in as you sink down into your stance. So rounded shoulders, they say in Tai Chi. So you don't want your shoulders back like this so your shoulder blades are together. You want the shoulders rounded, not slouch forward, but just in a natural stance. Okay, that way we'll be able to take in the optimum amount of oxygen per breath. Talking about breath, as we're going through the form, just try to breathe naturally. It's hard when you're learning something. We tend to inhale and forget to exhale. So just relax. Okay, now we're going to step into commencement. So remember, we want to sink our weight down to start. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the majority of our weight on our right side. So sinking into our right side, making sure you're not sitting into that hip, sinking down. Okay? And we're going to pick up our left foot and we're going to step out shoulder width apart, and we're going to step out with our foot, with our toes, okay? And then sinking down into the stance, wherever you're comfortable. So when you're sinking down, you want to make sure that you're just sinking into your stance and that your knee is not going over your toe. So looking down, you should be able to see your toe. And if you have a mirror handy, you should be able to look in the mirror just to make sure that you are sinking down and your buttocks are not sticking out and you're not thrust forward, right? And the weight is equally distributed on both feet. Okay, so now we're ready to start. So what we're doing is we're going from here, from preparation, and we're sinking the weight on the right, and we're stepping out toe first, shoulder width apart, and then sinking our weight down. Okay. So what happens next is we're going to imagine that we have strings on the wrists of our arms, and those strings are going to pull our arms up. Now, as our arms are coming up, the challenge is that our shoulders need to stay down. So arms go up, shoulders go down. So what happens basically when people's arms come up, this often happens, shoulders go up, because you want to avoid that. So when your arms are coming up, imagine the strings on your arms, pulling your arms up, your shoulders are going to stay down. And you're going to come up to shoulder height, and you'll see how my elbows are just slightly bent. And when I get up, I straighten my hands, and then I'm going to go back down, sinking back into my stance. So that's the movement. Okay, when I'm coming down, imagine that there's strings pulling your elbows back down into place. And there we go. Okay, so let's go over that. We're going to do that quite a few times, just till you feel comfortable. It's a simple move to start with, but it is actually quite complicated. There's lots going on there. Sinking our weight on the right, stepping out with your left toe, shoulder width apart. Make sure your feet are parallel, sinking your weight. Looking in the mirror, checking your stance. Keeping your head up like you're suspended up. Remember, light, agile upper body and rooted into the ground. Now, imagine the strings pulling your arms up. As you rise up, never locking your knees, shoulder height, straighten those hands, and now the strings on your elbows pulling your hands back down. Again, feet together, sinking on the right, stepping out with your left, shoulder width apart, toe first, sink. Arms are coming up, shoulders stay down, and then sink back down into your stance. So when I get up here, my hands are like this. Remember, we bring your hands up, strings on your elbows, pulling back down into place. Okay? We'll just do this a number of times in preparation. Prepared for the form. Sink. All the weight's on the right. Step shoulder width apart. Sink your weight. Arms are coming up, shoulders go down. Sink. Elbows are being pulled back into place. When we're in preparation too, one other thing I forgot to mention is that we want to make sure that we keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Okay, keep chin tucked in. There we go. One more time. Stepping out, shoulder width, sink. Arms are coming up as we come up. Never lock the knees. And then sinking back down. Commencement. We're just going to do a little bit of closure now for this session, and at the end of each session we'll do a closure. So we're going to start by just letting your hand go loose like this, and we're going to just like gently tap going down our left arm with our right hand, and then going up our right with our left hand, and then down the front of our body, just tapping lightly, but letting your hands go loose, coming back up the back or the side, whatever you're comfortable with. You can also do this if you're seated. Going back down. We're doing this 3 times. Just getting that energy circulated. There we go. And one more time. And coming back up. Excellent. Okay, and then we're just going to close with some breath. So we're going to just keep our hands, palms out, facing out, and we're going to just breathe in, taking in all that positive energy that we've put out there. And as we're coming down in front of our body, we're going to imagine, visualize that we're just breathing out as we are getting rid of that stagnant energy out through the bottom of our feet into the earth. So breathing in and coming down in front, exhaling as you're sinking into the ground. Breathing in and breathing out. Excellent. Great job. And at the end, we will show our fists. So we're going to bring our left hand up if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you can bring the opposite. You bring your right hand up. And we're going to make a fist with the other hand and show that there's nothing in your fist. You come in peace. And we're going to bow. And as we bow, we'll turn our fist so that it comes up, so that when we look down, we can see the inside of our fist. And then we come up, just showing that we come in gratitude. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in session 2.